Honorable Prime Minister today. यहाँ कांग्रेस पार्टी अगर प्रधानमंत्री का बात नहीं सुनना चाहता है, हम उसका निजी, उसका चॉइस क्या है मैं उसको थोपना नहीं चाहता हूं, लेकिन बाकी मेंबर्स सब प्राइम मिनिस्टर का भाषण सुनना चाहते हैं, वो कैसे रोक सकते हैं? दूसरा, लोकसभा का जो प्रोसीडिंग्स है उसका हवाला यहां दिया, लीडर ऑफ द हाउस नड्डा जी ने भी कह दिया, दूसरा सदन का जो प्रोसीडिंग है उसको यहां जिक्र नहीं करना चाहिए। ये अपर हाउस है, काउंसिल ऑफ स्टेट है, यहाँ अपना रूल्स है, राज्यसभा का अपना रूल्स ऑफ बिजनेस कंडक्ट करने का तरीका बनाया हुआ है, लेकिन आपका लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन इन लोकसभा नियम नहीं मानते हैं, रूल्स पे नहीं चलते हैं, वहां का स्पीकर रूलिंग पे नहीं मानते हैं, तो मैं उम्र नहीं बड़ा है, उम्र नहीं बड़ा है, आप ज्यादा सीनियर है, आप ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है, आपका लीडर ऑफ द हाउस राहुल गांधी को भटकने से आप क्यों नहीं समझाते हैं? वहां वो रूल नहीं मानते हैं, वो अपने हिसाब से मर्जी से चलाना चाहते हैं, आप लोग समझाना चाहिए उसको समझाने की जगह आप खुद भटक रहे हैं, ये ठीक नहीं है। ये अपर हाउस है, अपर हाउस का एक सम्मान है, यहाँ हाउस ऑफ लीडर्स का रूप से भी माना जाता है। आपका लीडर ऑफ द बिल्कुल नियम जैसे तय किया गया बिजनेस पे हमको चलना चाहिए, और बीच में उठ करके अलग से यहाँ पे माहौल खड़ा करने का कोशिश मत कीजिए। आज और बाकी लोग, कई लोग बोलना भी है, आज राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण में बोलना बाकी है, उनका भी सुनना चाहिए।
You go to your seat first. No, you first go to your seat. I know LOP. You all go to your seat first. You all sit in your seat.
Sir,
I will give you, sir, 1 minute I will give you. Honorable Leader of the House, you want to tell something? Let him speak. Okay, now. Yes.
सर देखिए, हम समझते हैं कि तुमसे भी ज्यादा समझते हैं।
Let him say something, then Leader of the House is here to respond. Why you are worried about?
सर, हम हाउस को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहते, लेकिन नहीं,
you tell the truth now.
No,
you are telling something against
the truth, sir.
No.
You
tell the truth. You disturbed. When Jairam Rameshji asked,
सुनिए,
immediately I asked you to speak. All your people are coming and shouting. This is the democracy.
अरे चार दिन से वो हाउस भी नहीं चल रहा, क्यों? कि एलओपी को बोलने नहीं दे रहे। लेकिन हमारा कहना यह है कि दोनों हाउस मिलने के बाद ही पार्लियामेंट बनता है, एक हाउस से पार्लियामेंट नहीं बनता। ये दोनों स्तंभ है, और दो जब स्तंभ होते हैं, एक को पैरालाइज करके आप अपने आप को छुपाने के लिए, अपने गलतियां छुपाने के लिए आप जो कर रहे हैं, किए हैं, इस देश को जो धोखा दे रहे हैं, देश की जो अपमान कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में जब राहुल जी बोलते हैं तो आप लोगों को खुजली उठती है।
नहीं। No, what has happened in Lok Sabha should not be discussed here.
इसीलिए
You want to tell something?
हम ये चाहते हैं कि
I am allowing you.
बोलना देंगे, और
जी, you are very elderly
सिखाने वाले बोलो, आप मेरू जी के ऊपर के बारे में बोलते हो, आप रूल की बात करते हो, आप सब प्रोसीडिंग की बात करते हो। अरे वो प्रोसीडिंग वहां पर गलत हो,
you are a very elderly person, you know everything.
सर,
and you know that Lok Sabha proceedings cannot be discussed in Rajya Sabha.
But
that you know very well.
We don't want to.
And again and again,
we don't want to see that
it's not
Parliament should be.
Then I have to say that nothing will go on record.
And only Rajya Sabha will run.
Please be democratic.
All those.
Even yesterday, you were talking.
Come from
the members of the opposition. They are telling Lok Sabha is different, Rajya Sabha is living. We should it be allowed to? Why the minister has not made his statement in the Rajya Sabha? This was your question
लोकसभा में जो
Now you
होता
are saying
है
something
वो
else.
राज्यसभा में आता है। हर कानून, हर बिल वहां से पास होने के बाद ही आता है। तो इसीलिए
Now, okay, 1 minute. One minute. You can speak.
वहां पर
I will now ask the
राहुल जी को बात
Leader of the
करने के
House.
लिए आप नहीं दे रहे।
Let him speak,
ये
then you can
बहुत
speak.
गलत
Yes.
है।
Let him
Wrong
speak
message
and
दिया
you
जा रहा
can
है।
speak,
और
please.
देश के लिए
Please
भी
take your seat.
ये अच्छा नहीं।
Please take your
यही मैं कहूँगा।
Now I have called the Honorable Leader of the House.
You people,
आदरणीय सभापति जी,
प्लीज।
आदरणीय सभापति जी, you also must listen to him. Then I will give you time. मैं खरगे जी के माध्यम से कांग्रेस पार्टी और देश को भी यह स्पष्ट संदेश देना चाहता हूं कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में चलने वाली सरकार हर समय हर तरीके से चर्चा करने के लिए और डिस्कशन करने के लिए तैयार है। लोकसभा में जो बातें हुई हैं उसका जवाब लोकसभा में हमारे सदन के नेता और संसदीय दल के नेता और देश के नेता प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी वहां पर जवाब देने के लिए तैयार बैठे रहे। लोकसभा को आपने चलने नहीं दिया। हम जहां तक राज्यसभा का सवाल है, माननीय सभापति जी, जहां तक राज्यसभा का सवाल है, आपने कहा इंडो यूएस ट्रेड डील पर स्टेटमेंट दो। तुरंत पीयूष गोयल जी ने स्टेटमेंट दी। स्टेटमेंट में आपकी रूलिंग थी कि इस पर कोई सवाल जवाब नहीं होगा। दिस इज अ स्टेटमेंट एंड इट इज अ सो मोटो स्टेटमेंट, इट वाज गिवन। क्या सवाल? फिर भी आपने पूछा तो हमने बताया कि ट्रेड डील्स के कॉन्टूर्स वो तैयार हो रहे हैं और वो आने वाले दिनों में आपको बता दिया जाएगा। आपने चर्चा 4 दिन राष्ट्रपति अभिभाषण पर की। माननीय लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन ने अपने समय को से 20 मिनट अधिक बोला और हम लोगों ने कहा आप और बोलिए, जितना बोलना चाहते हैं आप बोलिए। यहां एक अच्छे माहौल में और डेमोक्रेसी खतरे में है और ये इस तरह की बातचीत करना यह बिल्कुल गलत है और इसका मैं खंडन करता हूं, पुरजोर खंडन करता हूं। हम हर तरीके से चर्चा के लिए तैयार हैं और मैं विपक्ष के नेता के माध्यम से यह कहना चाहूंगा कि जब हमारे हाउस में सारी बातें करने के लिए हम तैयार हैं एंड वी आर रेडी टू गो ऑन एवरी माइन्यूट डिटेल्स, लेट द डिस्कशन टेक प्लेस। आप हमसे बहुत सीनियर हैं और आप सब में बहुत से लोग हमसे सीनियर हैं, लेकिन एक बात मैं जरूर निवेदन करूंगा, अपनी पार्टी को अबोध बालक का बंधक मत बनाइए, बंधक मत बनाइए। आप डोंट मेक हॉस्टेज ऑफ द पार्टी। आप देखिए इतने आप इतने समझदार हैं। आप इतने समझदार हैं, आप इतने होशियार हैं और आप इतने तजुर्बेकार हैं कि आपको, ठीक कहा किरण रिजिजू जी ने, कि आपको पार्टी के अंदर भी इस बात को समझाना चाहिए कि डेमोक्रेटिक तरीके से डेमोक्रेसी में ही हमको काम करना है। यहां पर अभिमान, अहंकार और अबोध होकर के, अबोध और अहंकार ये दोनों बड़ा डेडली मिक्सचर होता है, तो इससे बच करके रहें और पार्टी को बंधक न बनने दें, इतना मेरा निवेदन है। आप पार्टी को स्वतंत्र रूप से चलाइए और अबोध बालक का बंधक न होने दीजिए, इसकी चिंता कीजिए।
Now you want to speak? Yes, please.
Leader
of the opposition, please.
एक तो मैं उनका हमेशा रेस्पेक्ट करता हूं, लेकिन उन्होंने कि एक अभी जो अडल्ट नहीं हुआ, नाबालिग ऐसा क्या कुछ आपने हिंदी में, हाँ? अरे चुप बैठो, क्या पुकार, तो ऐसी बातें बोलना ये खंडनीय है। और दूसरी चीज, अरे हमारे पार्टी में क्या करना चाहिए?
You have to condemn the slogans of the other side also, sir.
Sir,
when you are speaking, all your people are coming towards you. This is the correct.
No,
when
that's
you,
why, sir.
If I deny the chance for you to speak, then everybody is rising, I can understand.
No.
When I called you to speak, all the people are coming in.
No, they are not coming. They are very silent. I like them.
You like them, but you like them at their seat, not nearing to you.
Sir, I like them.
Yeah, I too like them. But
I
let
like
them be
them.
seated in their
But I
seat.
dislike them.
You
So,
dislike them, what I can do? I am not asking you to like them.
but I.
If you
Sir,
dislike them, they will also dislike you.
सर, I agree. लेकिन मुझे आप जो पाठ पढ़ा रहे हैं कि लोकसभा में जो होता है यहाँ पर उठाना उचित नहीं है। मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, अगर पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी में 4-4 दिन पार्लियामेंट अगर अपोजिशन लीडर को बोलने के लिए नहीं देता है और वहां पर जो मुद्दे उठाए जाते हैं यहाँ पर वो उसकी चर्चा होती है, आप इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं हैं। लोकसभा राज्यसभा ये मिल के सरकार बनाती है, ये मिल के रहते हैं। लेकिन वी आर हाउस ऑफ एल्डर सर, एंड हाउस ऑफ एल्डर के आप चेयरमैन हो। आई एम वेरी प्राउड कि यू आर चेयरमैन ऑफ द एल्डर्स। एंड जो मैं उनको ये कहना चाहता हूँ, बार बार मत टोको कि तुम्हारी पार्टी ये है वो है। अरे आपकी पार्टी तो ऐसी है किसको बोलने का ही नहीं। आपको तो मोदी जी ने बंधक कर दिया है और आप मुझे बोल रहे हैं आप कोई उनके राय के बिना बात नहीं कर सकते। आप कोई जो बोलना है बंधक मीन्स बाउंडेड लेबर। सर बाउंडेड लेबर वो उधर बने तो ये लोग तो कभी
No. This bonded labor will not go on record. This is not correct. You cannot call the honorable members as bonded labor.
No.
That I will not agree. I will not. Please,
Sir,
I will not agree.
There is an act. So Bounded Labor Act.
Yeah, that
so
is there.
In BJP.
That is there. But you cannot call the honorable members as bonded laborers. That is not correct.
Not, sir, I am not calling.
Please.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
Please.
हमारे को एक तो आप ये लोग जो अपोजिशन पार्टी के नेता को बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं और दूसरी चीज हम
1 minute I will call honorable minister of parliamentary affairs.
I will complete sir.
Okay, you complete 1 minute.
I will complete. अरे रिजू जी आप बैठिए, हम कंप्लीट कर दे भाई, उसके बाद आप बोलिए। आपको तो टाइम बहुत मिलता है। सर मेरा कहना इतना ही है कि यू कांट क्रिटिसाइज अस। आवर पार्टी में क्या चला, हमारे पार्टी क्या आपके जैसा ये अपना लिंचिंग करती है, क्या आपके जैसा किसी को गालियां देती है, आपके जैसा कोई रेप करता है उसको समर्थन करता है, आपके जैसा अत्याचार करता है।
Anything unparliamentary will not go on records, please.
No unparliamentary.
Will not go on record. Anything wrong against the norms, rules will not go on record.
Sir,
I am not saying anything. I am just saying if anything is wrong against the rules, norms of the parliament, then it will not be there. It will not go there. Please take your seat.
Sir,
you complete. I can ask the reply from.
My only question is
you are disturbing the matters raised with permission. You are disturbing the individual matters rights.
I am not disturbing, sir. I am just pleading before you that how these people are crushing the democracy and how these people are not allowing the opposition leader. If that is the fate, elected members, what about the nominated members? Persons who got indirectly elected and nominated. So इनकी हालत क्या होगी? तो चाइना के बारे में बोलना,
you
don't agree.
Let me make my. I will quote the earlier proceedings. I will quote the earlier proceedings. 1 minute. You please take your seat. Debates in Lok Sabha, members should not make any critical reference about the debates in Lok Sabha. The Prime Minister, Sriman Jawaharlal Nehru ji, has suggested that it should not be made a practice in the Council to refer to the debates in Lok Sabha, and that even though it might be justified technically, it was a bad practice. Lok Sabha discussing the Council and the Council discussing the Lok Sabha, leading to trouble between the two houses. I would ask you not to refer to the House. The reference that you have made to the other House will be expunged from the proceedings. This is the ruling of the chairman of that time.
Yes. No. Sir, I agree.
Why you are getting, Jairamji, why you are getting so agitated? You are getting so much of time than the treasury benches. I am giving you a lot of time, but even then you are getting agitated. I don't understand. If you want to put anything in your speech, you put. You ask your leader of the opposition to sit and you can speak.
Sir.
But you don't want. Now, then letting him speak. Why you are interfering?
Sir, देखिए, हम आपको टारगेट करके नहीं बोल रहे हैं. हमारे टारगेट उधर है और ये लोग लोकतंत्र को कुचलने का काम कर रहे हैं, इसलिए हम बात कर रहे हैं.
So, save democracy, opposition should put their opinion, their thoughts, everything in the House. At the same time, treasury benches is also having their own right to defy your thinking. They have a right to answer to your questions. They have a right to answer to your opinions. They have every right to express their own opinions also.
Nehru ji, most democratic man. Not these people. These people are only criticizing Nehru ji. Indira Gandhi, they are misusing their power. They are misusing their authority.
In this house that has not happened. Even the president's address, Nehru ji has been praised. You might have noticed it. Now I ask.
No.
Now I ask Honorable Minister.
We don't want to listen of
Parliamentary Affairs. Yes.
आपको लीडर ऑफ द अपोजिशन को इज्जत देकर के चेयरमैन एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी आपको बुलाने दिया है. मैंने पहले भी कहा, ये सदन आपको और हमारा मर्जी से नहीं चलेगा, नियम से चलेगा. और ये वही तो बोल रहा हूं. दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. ही हैज टेकन द टाइम अगेन एंड अगेन. दिस हाउस बिलोंग्स टू एवरीवन. यू कांट टेक ऑल द स्पेस ऑल द टाइम. सर, नंबर 1, खड़गे जी ने मिसलीड किया इस सदन में. खुद बोलते हैं कि ये लीडर ऑफ द एल्डर्स माना जाता है. यू मिसलेड द हाउस. आपने बोला कि वहां लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन लोकसभा को बोलने नहीं दिया. ये आपने मिसलीड किया. उसको 40 मिनट तक 40 मिनट तक उसको स्पीकर ने टाइम दिया. वो रूल से बाहर बार बोल रहे हैं. स्पीकर का रूलिंग के बाद भी नहीं मानते हुए वो फिर रूल ब्रेक कर रहे हैं. और आप यहाँ मिसलीड करते हैं कि राहुल गांधी को बोलने नहीं दिया. आप ये मिसलीड. नंबर 1,
मिनिस्टर सर, प्लीज वाइंड अप. Please wind up.
Number 2, leader of opposition said that if Lok Sabha doesn't function, how can Rajya Sabha function? He also said that both the houses run together, which is absolutely wrong. If leader of opposition can show me one rule, that if Lok Sabha gets adjourned, Rajya Sabha should be automatically adjourned. Show me the rule. These two houses may constitute together for the concept of parliament, but the functioning of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are different. They are guided by different rules, and there's no precedent that if one house gets adjourned, the other house should also get adjourned. There's no such tradition, no such rule. Out of blue, suddenly today, why Congress party has taken up this issue of what is going on in Lok Sabha? We have allowed you to speak. after speaking all your time, you want to disturb Honorable Prime Minister? What tactics is this? We condemn these tactics of leader of opposition.
Now, Honorable Finance Minister, please.
Sir.
Hey, I am coming. I will give you everybody time. Can I give time to everyone together? Then please take your seat.
Sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. I respect the leader of the opposition, but I heard him say something that you people lynch. I'm sorry. I want that word removed. Honorable opposition leader is not right in commenting like this. One. And second, if he is talking on lynching, let me remind him that in Rajasthan, when Congress party was in ruling, based on some comment which one of our BJP lady spokesperson said, there was a lynching of a tailor and no action was taken. Nupur Sharma's comments on the TV, you lynched in your government. Lynching happened in Rajasthan. Even more, sir, one more. In Kerala, during Congress rule, the hands of a teacher, Father Joseph, was chopped off. What action did Congress party take in Kerala? Father Joseph, both the hands were chopped off. And that is Congress government. In Rajasthan, based on a comment made by Nupur Sharma, our spokesperson on the television, their government didn't do a damn when somebody went and chopped off, lynched the tailor. Is he talking about lynching? Is leader of the opposition talking about lynching? We should get correct.
Please wind up.
And Kerala first.
Please wind up. Now. I'll take your seat. I am calling you. Please. I have to come one by one only. Already you have taken the 30 minutes of the individual members. There is no matters raised with permission is taking place. You please take. You please take your seat. You please take your seat. Let Bitaji. Unless you are taking your seat, I am not going to ask anybody to speak. What is this? 10 people can speak together. You please. I have already given you sufficient time for our honorable leader of opposition. Now, Tiruchi Shivaji.
Sir, just two things, sir. One is Rule 238(3).
1 minute.
238. First issue, sir, I have a second one. First is use offensive expression about the conduct or proceedings of the houses or any state legislature. Sir, the leader of opposition, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, has not mentioned any defaming of the other house, sir. Number one. Number two, your predecessor, earlier when there was an issue was discussed which was under sub judice. We quoted Rule 238. He said, anything under the sky can be discussed on the floor of the Council of States. That ruling still stays, sir. Unless it is overruled, that rule still says, so we can discuss anything, sir. Thank you.
No, what he said, I have given my ruling already. What Jawaharlal Nehruji has said, that has been quoted by me. And again, you are raising the same point. You please, 1 minute, I am coming to you. Please, yes.
The House shouldn't be responses between that side and this side. We are also part of this House, sir.
Yes.
So please look at us also sometime.
No, you are getting now.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I cannot allow everybody to talk.
Thank you very much.
For that I am sitting
sir,
here.
Thank you very much for your graciousness, your benevolence, sir. Sir, as Kharge said, Parliament comprises of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and Honorable President. That's very important. These three institutions are part of this Parliament. Sir,
but every house has its own duty to do, na? Is it not?
Sir, let me just say, sir.
Continue.
Though the President was kept away when it was inaugurated and when it was foundation law. Anyway, my point is simple, sir. Sir, for a parliamentary democracy, institution of the opposition leader is very important.
Just as we respect the institution of Prime Minister, please do respect the institution of the opposition leader.
So,
My submission to you only, sir. Sir, you don't need to give a ruling. You just request them to allow the LOP of Lok Sabha to speak there and now.
No, one minute. Yeah. First, you have to ask them to sit in their seat when LOP is speaking. You do that. When a leader of the opposition is speaking, all his members were around him. What is this?
Yeah.
You are not. You have to see that side also. I am asking them to sit. They are sitting. When I am asking your people to go to their seat, they are not going. What I have to do? You tell me. See, each house is independent in its functioning. That is the ruling, that is the thing that has been followed for many decades, that will be followed. Now I call Sriman Baburam Nisad ji. एक मिनट प्लीज.
कहा तो हम सिर्फ ये कहना चाहते हैं कि हमारी तरफ से पूरा सम्मान किया जाता है. सर, नेता सदन ने यदि अबोध शब्द का प्रयोग किया है तो बोध का अर्थ होता है ज्ञान. इसमें अप्रत्यय लगाकर जो ज्ञान ना हो उसके लिए अबोध होता है. कोई सम्मान नहीं, किसी का असम्मान नहीं है. सर, ज्ञान की कोई सीमा नहीं होती, अज्ञान की कोई उम्र नहीं होती. और अबोध होने का प्रमाण यह, जिसे यह ना पता हो कि फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस के ऊपर सब्सटेंशियल एविडेंस मीडिया रिपोर्ट नहीं होती है, वो अबोध है. सर, जिसे यह ना पता हो कि सेना अध्यक्ष और प्रधानमंत्री रक्षा मंत्री के बीच का कम्युनिकेशन ऑफिशियल सीक्रेट एक्ट में आता है, वो पब्लिक डोमेन में नहीं हो सकता, वो अबोध है. और सर, मैं ये भी कहना चाहता हूं, यदि किताब की बात है, सर मैं कोट करता हूं और इसको सब्सटेंशिएट कर सकता हूं. 19 नवंबर 1962 जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने अमेरिकी राष्ट्रपति जॉन एफ कैनेडी को लिखा कि हमें V2 बॉम्बर चाहिए, हमें स्क्वाड्रन चाहिए जिसका नेतृत्व तो आप करें. और सुनिए, उस समय अमेरिका में भारत के राजदूत बीके नेहरू, जो नेहरू जी के भतीजे थे, उन्होंने अपनी किताब गुड गाइज सेकंड में, सर उन्होंने लिखा कि जब मैं वो पत्र देने जा रहा था प्रेसिडेंट के एडवाइजर को, तो मुझे इतनी शर्म महसूस हो रही थी जब अपनी एयरफोर्स की कमांड उनको दे रही, मैं रोया था. बीके नेहरू की किताब गुड गाइज फिनिश सेकंड. तो सर, ज्ञान और अज्ञान दोनों को समझ में रखकर तब देश के बारे में विचार करना चाहिए.
Now everybody take their seat, please. Everybody take their seat, please. Let us do our regular. So you want to say something? Then you ask your people to go to the. Why every time they are coming to behind you? So we are here to protect you. Are they going to protect you?
And they agree immediately. You see how disciplined people are.
How disciplined? Every time they are coming to the front is not discipline.
Sir,
don't create new discipline. Let them be in their seat.
सर, मेरा एक ही निवेदन आपसे है कि ये बार बार नेहरू जी को गालियां देना, इंदिरा जी को गालियां देना, अपोजिशन लीडर के लिए आपने जो शब्द उपयोग करे वो खंडनीय है. और वो ये चाहते हैं कि भाई ये नरवणे की किताब है, इसमें क्या है मुझे मालूम नहीं, मैं पढ़ के बताता.
No. Don't take this again. No. I'm not going to allow. This is not authenticated. This is not authenticated. This is not approved by the defense ministry.
अमेरिका को बेचने वाले, देश को दिल्ली रखने वाले प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं.
Now, mic should be given to the honorable leader of the House.
सभापति जी, आपने देख लिया प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण की क्या आवश्यकता है. प्रत्यक्ष को प्रमाण की क्या आवश्यकता है. प्रजातंत्र के बारे में बोलने वाले लोग किस तरीके से प्रजातंत्र का मजाक करते हैं और गला घोटते हैं, वो हमको सामने दिख रहा है. ये प्रत्यक्ष रूप में दिख रहा है. आपने सभापति जी लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन को एक बार नहीं 3 बार मौका दिया पूरी, और उन्होंने अपनी पूरी बात कही है, पूरी की पूरी बात कही है. लेकिन उनका एजेंडा कुछ और है, और उनका एजेंडा ये है कि जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में देश तीव्र गति से आगे बढ़ रहा है, उसमें कैसे विघ्न डाला जाए, कैसे बाधा डाली जाए, यह कांग्रेस पार्टी का एजेंडा हो गया है. और उनको जिस तरीके से भारत की जनता का आशीर्वाद प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी को बारंबार मिल रहा है, वह इनसे सहा नहीं जा रहा है। ये बौखलाहट में आ गए हैं। दे हैव बिकम डेस्परेट एंड दे हैव गॉट नथिंग टू डू विद द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री। दे आर सेल्फ सीकर्स, और इनको अपनी पार्टी और अपना हित, और अपने हित में भी एक परिवार का हित, वही दिखता है जिसके लिए काम कर रहे हैं। लोकसभा में क्या लोकसभा के स्पीकर को वहां की रूलिंग देने का पूरा अधिकार नहीं है? उन्होंने पूरा अधिकार का उपयोग किया है कि नहीं किया है? वहां के लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन को बोलने का पूरा मौका दिया गया। अब वो अगर संसदीय प्रणाली में ना बोलते हो, जिसके कारण उनको रोका जाता हो, तो यह कौन सी डेमोक्रेसी है कि जो नियम आप ही तय करोगे उसी के तहत चलेगा? अभी यहां पर भी आपने उनको रोका और वो वॉकआउट कर गए। ये तरीका नहीं होता है प्रजातंत्र चलने का। और आपके माध्यम से मैं देश को फिर से बताना चाहता हूं कि मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में चलने वाली सरकार हर विषय पर चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है, और हर तरीके से चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार है। जिन जिन विषयों को ऑपोजिशन लेकर के आई है, उसका दोनों सदनों में चर्चा हुई है, और यही स्पिरिट के साथ मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में यह सरकार आगे चलेगी। आज भी हम तैयार थे, हमने हर बात के लिए उनका जवाब दिया, उनको बताया, लेकिन जिन्होंने सीखना ही नहीं है, जिन्होंने समझना ही नहीं है, जिनका उद्देश्य प्रजातंत्र चले, हाउस चले, डेमोक्रेसी चले, ये नहीं है, बल्कि एक परिवार की चले, तो उनको बता देना चाहते हैं ये 140 करोड़ का देश मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में आगे बढ़ रहा है, ये परिवार के बंधक नहीं बनेगा। इस बात को हमको ध्यान में रखना चाहिए।
थैंक यू। नाउ श्रीमान बाबूराम निषाद जी।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय सभापति जी। मैं आज इस सदन का राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा से जुड़े एक अत्यंत विषय की ओर आकर्षित कराना चाहता हूं। विशेषकर हमारी अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमाओं की सुरक्षा में आ रही लॉजिस्टिक चुनौतियां और हालिया न्यायिक हस्तक्षेपों तथा प्रशासनिक विलंब के संबंध में महोदय, हाल ही में कलकत्ता उच्च न्यायालय ने एक ऐतिहासिक निर्णय देते हुए पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार को निर्देश दिया है कि 9 सीमावर्ती जिलों में स्थित भूमि को 31 मार्च 2026 तक सीमा सुरक्षा बल बीएसएफ को सौंपें। ये अत्यंत चिंताजनक है कि यह भूमि हस्तांतरण वर्ष 2016 से लंबित है, जबकि केंद्र सरकार द्वारा इसके लिए संपूर्ण भुगतान पहले ही स्वीकृत जारी कर चुका है। महोदय, 4096 किलोमीटर लंबी भारत बांग्लादेश सीमा एक बड़ा हिस्सा आज भी बिना बाढ़ के है। ये खुले हिस्से लंबे समय से राष्ट्र विरोधी गतिविधियों के लिए मार्ग बने हुए हैं, जैसे अवैध घुसपैठ, मवेशी तस्करी, मादक पदार्थों की तस्करी तथा जाली मुद्रा नोटों का प्रसार। अप्रैल 2025 में दक्षिण बंगाल फ्रंटियर में बीएसएफ कर्मियों ने मालदा के पास खुले सीमा क्षेत्र का लाभ उठाने वाले तस्करों से एक ही रात में 19 से अधिक मवेशियों को छुड़ाया। विडंबना है यह महोदय की राष्ट्र की सीमाओं की सुरक्षा जैसा संप्रभु दायित्व आज राज्य स्तर पर प्रशासनिक इच्छा शक्ति के अभाव के कारण बाधित हो रहा है। पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार उस पर निर्णय नहीं ले पाई है, जिससे लंबे कानूनी संघर्षों पर निर्भरता बढ़ी है। वर्तमान व्यवस्था जिसमें सीमा अवसंरचना के लिए राज्य सरकारों से अनापत्ति प्रमाण पत्र, एनओसी और जटिल भूमि हस्तांतरण प्रक्रियाएं आवश्यक हैं, एक गंभीर रणनीतिक कमजोरी उत्पन्न कर रही है। राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा को ना तो नौकरशाही जटिलताओं का बंधक बनाया जा सकता है, न ही राजनीतिक उदासीनता का। अतः महोदय जी, मैं सरकार से निम्नलिखित उपायों पर विचार करने का आग्रह करता हूं। केंद्रीय सीमा कॉरिडोर की स्थापना, एक ऐसा कानूनी ढांचा बनाया जाए जिसके अंतर्गत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सीमाओं से सटे 1-2 किलोमीटर चौड़े क्षेत्र को गृह मंत्रालय के प्रत्यक्ष प्रशासनिक एवं कानूनी नियंत्रण में लाया जा सके। दूसरा, विधायी विचार सरकार को सीमा संबंधी कार्यों को शीघ्रता से पूरा करने हेतु एक व्यापक कानून लाना चाहिए ताकि बाढ़बंदी रणनीति
श्रीमान आर गिरिराजन जी।
We were just getting you all these live updates from the Rajya Sabha. So what did we see there? We see there was Mallikarjun Kharge who was saying that the BJP does not let people talk, and at the same time we saw other counter arguments coming in. We saw leader of the House, JP Nadda, say Rahul Gandhi wanted to talk for an extra 20 minutes. We asked him to talk as much as he wants to. But democracy is in crisis as the opposition is talking in an unruly way in the parliament. Nadda saying that. Okay, let's go straight across to my colleague Ishita. Ishita, you know, we just heard there the Congress and of course leaders like Nadda, we saw leaders like Kiren Rijiju saying that Kharge should ask Rahul Gandhi to follow the rules. We saw an entire exchange there. If you could help our viewers understand what really happened, that was a very, very intense exchange that we saw.
Right, of course, Shivangi, as soon as both the houses convened today at 11 a.m., we saw within 1 minute Lok Sabha got injured while we saw tempers flaring up in the upper house in Rajya Sabha. Now it seems that the ruling party came up with a simple message, do not hold the parliament hostage, let a discussion happen, let this be a forum of democratic and civil discussion. You know, we had leaders like Kiren Rijiju, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, JP Nadda, who's the leader of the House, is speaking and saying just one message, let the House function, let us have discussion, and also sending out a clear message that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, we allow discussions and nobody is stopped from talking in the Parliament. Whereas the Congress, it seems, also came up with a clear message of disruption, and which is what we witnessed. They kept at it. They were adamant. Mallikarjun Kharge just repeating one single point, that leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, was not allowed to speak. In fact, Kiren Rijiju also countering that point, clearly saying that he was allowed to speak for 40 minutes. So now viewers will continue the coverage on all updates we're getting from Parliament, but right now slipping in to a very short break.
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा।
Hi, good morning to you. Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion. So there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims. But the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government a few months ago. They made no sense. They antagonized India. They disrupted trade. And
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया सफेद चने या काले चने सब कुछ मजेदार बने
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine, which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura all about. So I have had a detailed look at the article in the Caravan magazine. I have no access to General Narwane's book or manuscript, but we had a look at the Caravan article in detail. So what does this article say? This article talks of the 2020 Chinese intrusions, which had culminated in the Galwan incident, in which 19
MDH की देगी मीरज
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का
MDH की देगी मीरज
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
Hi. Good morning
Hi,
to you. Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal. And
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion, so there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims, but the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government a few months ago. They made no sense. They antagonized India. They disrupted trade. And I think somebody finally explained to Trump that none of this was serving any American interests at all. And so Trump has backed down to an important extent. Everything about Trump and trade is erratic, not sensible, not accomplishing any U.S. goals, but better 18% tariffs than 50% tariffs or 500% tariffs. But I wouldn't take it.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा सबका राजा आरप्योर मसाला।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine, which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura all about. So I have had a detailed look at the article in the Caravan magazine. I have no access to General Narwane's book or manuscript, but we had a look at the Caravan article in detail. So what does this article say? This article talks of the 2020 Chinese intrusions, which had culminated in the Galwan incident, in which 19 Indian soldiers had lost their lives. No weapons had been used, but the Chinese had laid an ambush with pointed stones, with baseball bats wrapped up with barbed wire and nails and studded with lethal handheld weapons. You see, 19 Indians had been killed, but in response our soldiers had given an excellent account of themselves in hand-to-hand combat, and it is said that 45, some claim up to 100 Chinese soldiers were killed, which they tried to hide by saying they had lost just 5 soldiers. The simple fact is that after this violent incident leading to 19 fatalities on the Indian side, we should have thrown the 1996 Peace and Tranquility Accord into the bloody dustbin. Dustbin. Because that accord says that you can't use your weapons. And then you have to get into unseeming boxing matches, kushti matches, karate, this thing, and then start using sticks and stones and all that primitive Stone Age weapons. But you can't open fire. Why not? Why can't you open fire? Because you are defending your territory. And if the other side has drawn blood, it is not just a matter of dhakka mukki now. Well, I think that any local commander is fully justified.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat.
watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on the live report this Thursday afternoon. It's 12 p.m. Our focus is on the Parliament because we don't know whether the Prime Minister will be allowed to speak. As of this minute, he is scheduled to speak at 5 p.m. But he will not be speaking in the Lok Sabha. He will only make his address in the Rajya Sabha. Here are the headlines as we build up to the Prime Minister's speech today. Deadlock continues in Parliament. Will the opposition which blocked the Prime Minister's address in Lok Sabha allow it in the Rajya Sabha? Pakistan reiterates boycott of match with India. ICC asks Deputy Chair to convince Pakistan. Is Pakistan being persuaded now by ICC even after the blackmail? Back-to-back fatal game addiction suicides reported in different cities of India. Bhopal, Ghaziabad, Kerala. Should India consider social media ban for those under the age of 16? After SIT report proves adulteration in the Tirupati ladu, Jagan Mohan Reddy claims charge sheet is closed. TDP says it's not. That fight continues. UK Civil Aviation Authority now seeks Air India's response on the faulty fuel switch. Air India says precautionary pre-inspection completed, no defect found. But the focus is on the clean sheet that has been given by Air India to Air India, by DGCA to Air India, even as the entire world asks questions on what really is going on. Good. Okay, so we're going across straight to the Parliament where the voting on the motion of thanks is underway. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in the Lok Sabha where the Prime Minister was blocked from speaking. Let's cut across live.
हाँ वालों के पक्षमा प्रस्ताव स्वीकृत हुआ। मैं माननीय सदस्यों से आग्रह करता हूं कि वह सभागृह की मर्यादा को बनाए रखे, बैनर, तख्तियां, नारेबाजी न करे, आप सदन को चलने दें। बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
What a tragedy. What a tragedy. The Lok Sabha has been adjourned once again. The Lok Sabha has been adjourned once again. You just saw the speaker there trying to get proceedings underway in the Lok Sabha. He began speaking and then the opposition, which has been stalling the Parliament for some reason, they don't have any issue. They're coming to Parliament with an issue which is a non-issue. Let me go across to Ishita joining us live. Ishita, it's a deadlock. It's a deadlock. They're not allowing Parliament to function.
Right, of course, and Niranjan, it seems that the opposition has come out with a clear message to both the House of Parliament, which is of disruption. They're not allowing the House to function, to let Parliament be a decorum for a civil and democratic discussion. What they only want is that leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, in fact, was not allowed to speak. This is a point that they keep raising, and we've seen 2 times Lok Sabha has been adjourned. At first, it started at 11. Within 1 minute, the lower house was adjourned. till 12, and now as soon as the proceedings began in the lower house, again the house has been adjourned. Now, despite a request coming in from the Speaker of the House to let discussions happen, because you see what happens is Prime Minister Modi's speech was stalled yesterday by the opposition. We saw a lot of Congress women MPs coming to the well of the House, gerrowing Prime Minister's chair, blocking the aisle. He was supposed to walk down, and therefore the House again got adjourned yesterday at 5 p.m. And today the motion of thanks was supposed to be passed without Prime Minister Modi's reply. But again, we are looking at a deadlock where opposition is essentially not allowing the House to function. It is holding the lower house hostage at this point, and no discussion seems to be happening. And even the motion of thanks, which was supposed to pass and to be followed up by a discussion on budget, could not be passed, it seems.
Yes. Now, what is the government saying? I mean, there have been different meetings between top ministers in the last, 24 hours on how to break this deadlock. They've been meeting different opposition leaders. Do we know about the different leaders who met today and what the strategy is ahead of the Prime Minister's speech at 5 p.m.?
Right, of course, opposition here has a message of disruption. Meanwhile, the Congress is sticking to its demand of letting the leader of opposition to continue his speech, where he is in fact quoting some books, unpublished books about an ex-army chief, while the ruling party has come out with a clear message to let discussion happen. Even in Rajya Sabha, we saw today Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju coming out, JP Nadda, who's the leader of the House in upper house in Rajya Sabha, essentially coming out and just with one simple message: let discussions happen, let arguments and counter-arguments play out, and do not block the House. He also sent out a very clear message that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, there is no such thing as discussions not being allowed. Everyone is allowed to speak. They also requested Congress leaders in the Rajya Sabha. They said it is a house of elders. So, Mallikarjun Kharge, who's the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, he was requested by the ruling party leaders that let discussions happen, let the House function, do not hold the Parliament House hostage. And we're also expecting Prime Minister Modi to address Rajya Sabha at about 5 p.m. today. So that is a clear message that ruling party leaders has for the opposition at this point. And, after for a brief period, tempers were flaring up in the Rajya Sabha, but it seems that the question hour is now underway, and leaders have been allowed to speak from across party lines. You had Sanjay Speth, Rajiv Shukla, all of them have now been raising issues right from missing children, especially minors in Delhi, to even about the aviation sector. So while Rajya Sabha has been allowed to function, it seems the paralysis in Lok Sabha is continuing. For the past 3 days, we've seen lower house has not been allowed to function by the opposition, who is very adamant on their demand that why the leader of opposition was not allowed to speak, Rahul Gandhi, not allowed to speak. In fact, we also had a counter to it by Kiren Rijiju, who said in Rajya Sabha today that Rahul Gandhi was in fact allowed to speak for about 40 minutes in Lok Sabha, but Congress remains adamant on its demand. It seems that we'll have to see whether the Prime Minister's speech, which is expected at about 5 p.m. in the evening in Rajya Sabha, will that be allowed to go smoothly by opposition.
Yeah. Harsha is also joining us live. Harsha has been tracking the developments. Harsha, in fact, it seemed planned yesterday, the fact that women MPs were, right up there, 8 of them, if we counted them correct. And the idea was to stall the Prime Minister's speech, which even the Congress very strangely acknowledged, saying that it is Priyanka Vadra who planned the entire thing. Now, how is the how is the government going to counter any such attempt today in the Rajya Sabha, if at all? I'm sure the government has thought that through.
So, Niranjan, opposition is very crystal clear that if opposition will continue to stall the parliament, and because yesterday there was a debriefing from the top sources, one of the top minister, he clearly stated that if the opposition will continue to stall the parliament, Prime Minister, like yesterday did in Lok Sabha, didn't reply, the same could be happen in Rajya Sabha if the opposition would not allow them. Highly today, the meeting was also convened, and the speaker also have spoken to the leaders of the opposition and the ruling party that the Rajya Sabha should be allowed to run smoothly before Prime Minister arrives and makes a statement at 5 o'clock. Because we very well know today the motion has been passed in the Lok Sabha without Prime Minister's reply. This is also very shameful on the part of the opposition leaders. How not one or two, several opposition women MPs, they were there with the banner in their hand. And Niranjan, this is against the rule of the Parliament protocol. That clearly says there will be no placard, there will be no poster, banner in the Parliament. But we could clearly see Pariniti Shinde, Varsha Gaikwad, the Congress opposition MPs, the DMK member of Parliament, along with Priyanka Gandhi. Priyanka Gandhi was leading this, stalling the Parliament in front of the Treasury bench, in front of the very chair where the Prime Minister sits, and Prime Minister was not at that time, but with the banner and poster, all of them were standing in front of the Treasury bench near to the Secretary General table, about to jump the well. These all were the scenes in the Parliament yesterday. And the Om Birla, speaker, today also stated that this way opposition can't behave. There's a temple of democracy. Thousands of people have voted for these parliamentarians to come here and make the point, to participate in a debate. But rather than doing that, every day Parliament is being adjourned. And today all eyes are on the Prime Minister's reply at 5 o'clock in Rajya Sabha, Niranjan, because today, again, if opposition will have the same sort of behavior, then might be the Prime Minister can also skip the Rajya Sabha reply as well. Then the business will move forward as it is already planned.
All right. So, thank you, Harsha and Ishita, for joining us. We will be live through the day on Parliament. It is a critical day. The Prime Minister will be speaking in what is going to be an extremely critical speech today, given all the allegations. Not sure whether he will directly respond to Rahul Gandhi, but certainly there will be a message for the opposition each time the Prime Minister speaks in Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, we broke a story of AI-132, a flight that was coming in from London Heathrow to Bengaluru. And a very major glitch was reported. And it is the exact same technical glitch that perhaps caused the crash of the Ahmedabad AI-171 flight. Air India has been pulled up this time by UK aviation authorities. And they've been asked a question about how that flight even took off from London, and how is it that Air India has managed to give everyone a clean sheet. So essentially the clean sheet that Air India has given itself and the DGCA given to Air India, now all of that comes under the scanner. It's strange that the entire focus is on Air India, while Air India itself says absolutely nothing is wrong and tries to blame pilots for this. In fact, Britain's Aviation Authority has specifically asked Air India to explain how the Boeing Dreamliner passenger jet, which was grounded on arrival in Bengaluru for safety checks, even took off from London in the first place on Sunday with that faulty fuel switch. That is what the letter says, according to different reports now coming in from the UK. The UK Civil Aviation Authority, or the CAA, equivalent of India's DGCA, has asked Air India that question, also warning of the possibility of regulatory action against Air India and its Boeing 787 fleet if the airline does not submit a complete response within a week. I have Captain Ehsan Khalid joining us on the broadcast on this very important story. Captain Khalid, it's strange that, you were there when we discussed that report that spoke of a faulty switch, possibly that led to the Ahmedabad crash. And now when a pilot claimed a similar incident on another plane or another flight, the attempt has been to cover up and admit, or rather pretend that everything is okay, than to do proper checks. Now, what do you make of it, sir? We've debated this. UK is now worried. India, for some reason, our DGCA, our ministry, Air India included, they're all pretending like everything is okay. How does this work?
Okay, very good morning to you and all your viewers. Very sad way of looking at such a difficult and such a disastrous accident that we had on AI-171. Number one, a fuel switch malfunction being reported by pilots at London should have actually got a IB board from India to fly down there and see it firsthand as to what the problem is. All the documents pertaining to the aircraft and to the maintenance of that aircraft should have been seized. The FDR should have been seized to see, because now there are not two dead pilots talking. There are 3 living pilots and probably 1 or 2 engineers who attended to that before putting that snag in the paper. So there are 5 technically qualified, trained individuals who said that there was a switch that moves from run to cutoff when pushed slightly, that is without the intention of pilot. This is what the dead pilot captain, late Captain Sumit Sabharwal, probably said on the CVR, though I don't have the access to CVR, that I did not do it. That means the switch did move on its own. That's the pilot's dying declaration. Here, there are 5 living pilots who have, there are 3 pilots whose name I see on the tech log. Okay, so I would say that all these 3 pilots were on board and they would have seen that this is a problem existing. Then there must have been an engineer who would write it down there, and after some time the aircraft was cleared. It should not have been cleared. Now the second point is, I hear from the public media that Boeing or a spokesperson of Boeing has said that the switch was not being properly operated. There was nothing wrong with the snag. Correct me if I am wrong in making this statement. Have you also heard this?
You're right.
That the switch was okay. That means Boeing now comes up with a statement to their own acceptance that if the switch is not operated in somewhat right manner, it can go to run to switch off. Now, it is such an important thing that it should issue a warning bulletin to the entire fleet, because it is to their acceptance that in some way, if it is wrongly operated, it will cause the fuel to go from run to switch off. Now, they haven't issued that and the aircraft went on to flight. I don't know how will they stitch this whole blunder, because the fact remains that exactly the same thing could have happened on the last aircraft, where the aircraft was probably on the takeoff leg, and the aircraft on the takeoff leg, let me tell you why these fuel switches are also guarded. Because when you are accelerating and when you have jerks on the runway, there is nothing that should move on its own. And if that is what has happened on Air India 171 and the switches were malfunctional, now we have pilots reporting that without much of effort from the pilot side, the switch moved from there to that place. So you will have that kind of pressure on the aircraft when it is running for the takeoff or when it is coming up for the takeoff run, because when you rotate the aircraft, all the objects in the aircraft go through positive G. Now that is slightest force that was being applied by the pilot when the aircraft was being started up at London. That means at the time of rotation, that force can come by the virtue of the aircraft being rotated, and the switch can move from there to run to off position, and that is exactly what might have happened. What I'm saying is, how could it be taken so lightly? All the statement of the pilots have to become integral part of the evidence and AIB investigation, and the whole discussion about what went wrong, should actually now be steered through with this new finding.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that, because it just matches, isn't it? Because you had in Ahmedabad fuel switch cutoff, this plane fuel switch cutoff that took off from London. In the Ahmedabad crash, from the recordings, the so-called recordings, they said, they claimed that the pilot said, I didn't do it, right? It wasn't me. Absolutely, or I didn't do it, or something like that. And in this particular case, the pilots are saying exactly that the fuel switch cut off. And it's not the first time that something like this has been reported. There are different videos doing the round. So it can't be that the entire world is wrong and just Air India and DGCA is right. There's something very, 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 very serious, ladies and gentlemen. Are we waiting perhaps for an accident to happen? God forbid. Our focus is on that question. Can we afford another aviation tragedy? And are we going soft on this entire Boeing Air India fiasco? That's it on the live report. Coming back with the live coverage from Parliament and all the other updates. Stay tuned.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला.
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
थोड़े से ज्यादा स्वाद ये ही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
Hi, good morning to you. Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion. So there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims. But the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government a few months ago. They made no sense. They antagonized India. They disrupted trade. And I think somebody finally explained to Trump that none of this was serving any American interests at all. And so Trump has backed down to an important extent. Everything about Trump and trade is erratic, not sensible, not accomplishing any U.S. goals, but better 18% tariffs than 50% tariffs or 500% tariffs. But I wouldn't take at face value any single statement by the U.S. government. I think everything is just complete improvisation, a lot of baloney, a lot of malarkey, but probably somebody has prevailed inside the White House to say, why antagonize India?
So what did Trump or what did America gain in the last
Nothing.
4 months of putting
Nothing.
pressure on India?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Whatever is agreed today could have been agreed before. Nothing is gained. There's no pressure. India has U.S. has no leverage on India. So none of this is anything other than Trump's delusion that the U.S. is the be-all and end-all of the universe. And so his writ is the command for the whole world.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, everyday.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
This morning, Rahul Gandhi, leader of the opposition, created a ruckus and furor in the parliament. In response to the president's address, he insisted upon raising what he said were some issues of vital import to our national security. So what was he saying? He was trying to cite an article from the Caravan magazine which in turn was quoting excerpts from General Narwane, the former army chief's unpublished memoirs. It may be recalled that the government had stopped General Narwane from publishing the book. As such, the authenticity of the excerpts cited in the Caravan magazine itself are open to question. But then let's try and take a deeper look at what is this bravura all about. So I have had a detailed look at the article in the Caravan magazine. I have no access to General Narwane's book or manuscript, but we had a look at the Caravan article in detail. So what does this article say? This article talks of the 2020 Chinese intrusions, which had culminated in the Galwan incident, in which 19 Indian soldiers had lost their lives. No weapons had been used, but the Chinese had laid an ambush with pointed stones, with baseball bats wrapped up with barbed wire and nails and studded with lethal handheld weapons. You see, 19 Indians had been killed, but in response our soldiers had given an excellent account of themselves in hand-to-hand combat, and it is said that 45, some claim up to 100 Chinese soldiers were killed, which they tried to hide by saying they had lost just 5 soldiers. The simple fact is that after this violent incident leading to 19 fatalities on the Indian side, we should have thrown the 1996 Peace and Tranquility Accord into the bloody dustbin. Dustbin. Because that accord says that you can't use your weapons. And then you have to get into unseeming boxing matches, kushti matches, karate, this thing, and then start using sticks and stones and all that primitive Stone Age weapons. But you can't open fire. Why not? Why can't you open fire? Because you are defending your territory. And if the other side has drawn blood, it is not just a matter of dhakka mukki now. Well, I think that any local commander is fully justified in giving his troops the right to open fire in self-defense. Now, what happened was that these orders, no clear-cut orders were given, and in fact, no orders to violate this treaty, this accord of 1996 was ever issued at any level. Then India did a counter-intrusion to the Chinese intrusion. We gave a tit for tat. In south of the Pangong Tso, in the Kailash range, that Rezangla ridge, we went and occupied the empty Rezangla ridge, the Kailash range.
Hi, good morning to you. Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American.
Deadlock continues in Parliament. Will opposition allow Prime Minister's address and motion of thanks? Pakistan reiterates boycott of match with India. ICC asked Deputy Chair to convince Pakistan is Pakistan being let off too easily. Back-to-back fatal game addiction incidents reported in Bhopal and Ghaziabad. Should India consider social media ban on under 16? After SIT report proves adulteration in TTD Ladu, Jagan Mohan Reddy says charge sheet is closed. UK Civil Aviation Authority seeks Air India's response on faulty fuel switch. Air India says precautionary re-inspection completed, no defect found in fuel switch. Viewers, let's go straight to the top story that is coming in. That is the T20. The ICC has initiated back-channel talks with the Pakistan Cricket Board to resolve the standoff over the India fixture. ICC has asked Deputy Chair Imran Khwaja with persuading the PCB to honour the match rather than escalate the dispute. Reports suggest that ICC has made it clear seeking dialogue and not punishment, while warning that withdrawing from the high-profile clash could invite legal action from official broadcaster. An India-Pakistan match is considered the ICC's biggest commercial asset, underpinning major broadcast deals, sponsorship, and global viewership. And any withdrawal or expulsion could lead to serious contractual complications and multi-million-dollar financial losses. This is what we see, viewers. What we see is all these updates coming in, because at the same time, we're getting some of these reactions which have been coming in. Pakistan's Prime Minister says the decision is final, no match against India. The reason given is solidarity with Bangladesh. Let's listen in.
वर्ल्ड कप जो है उस हवाले से हमने बड़ा वाज़ेह स्टैंड लिया है कि हम हिंदुस्तान के ख़िलाफ़ जो मैच है वो हम नहीं खेलेंगे, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान ने कहा कि ये खेल का मैदान है, ये सियासत नहीं है। खेल के मैदान में सियासत बिल्कुल नहीं होनी चाहिए। हमने एक बड़ा सोच समझ के हमने स्टैंड लिया है और इस हवाले से हमें बांग्लादेश के साथ पूरी तरह खड़े होना चाहिए इंशाअल्लाह।
And the Vice President of Rajiv Shukla has also spoken a short while back with my colleague Harsha, explaining what the BCCI is expecting out of this evolving situation.
Now begging Pakistan through PCB behind the talks to play a match with India rather than punishing them. Why so, Mr. Shukla?
I won't comment on this issue. It's purely with ICC, so BCCI will abide by ICC, whatever ICC say. So I am on behalf of BCCI will not make any comment.
Okay, let's go straight across to my colleague. I'm being joined by Shivam, who's joining us live from our Republic newsroom. A very good afternoon to you, Shivam. You know, everything is hanging in the balance here. The BCCI is saying that we will do whatever the ICC says. The ICCI, from what we understand, is trying to hold some back-channel talks because they don't want to lose the commercial aspect of the T20. At the same time, Pakistan says we will not play against India. But the question is Pakistan being let off too easily, Shiva?
Definitely, this comes as a bonhomie between Pakistan and Bangladesh. Pakistan is showing solidarity towards Bangladesh. Now, this comes after many years of Sheikh Hasina's ousters. Now, Pakistan and Bangladesh seem to have come close because Bangladesh is not there. So, Pakistan is coming together with Bangladesh and saying that we also won't play against India. And it started from Pakistan claiming that they would be boycotting their match. Initially, they were saying they will wear black bands in their arms and as a mark of protest. Now, this comes as an official confirmation that Pakistan won't be playing, because this comes from their top political leadership, that Shehbaz Sharif has claimed that we won't be playing against India. Now, this also opens up this big story that ICC is trying to open back-channel talks with PCB and trying to convince PCB to have a match with India, because we should understand there is a lot of money involved in this entire event, in these entire events, because it is ICC's biggest commercial asset when it comes to cricket. Everybody will be waiting for a match between India and Pakistan, and ICC very well understands. But why to bow down towards what PCB wants? When PCB doesn't want to play, why is ICC persuading PCB to have a match with India? because we have also continuously raised a voice that the Indian citizens, they don't want a match with Pakistan. Now, Pakistan, if they don't want to play a match, very well, why are there any back channel talks? Also, BCCI is refraining from any comment. We tried to confront Rajiv Shukla twice, but we didn't get any satisfactory response when it comes to boycotting the match with Pakistan. Now, this should be a clear message from India to Pakistan, especially to the PCB, that we don't want to play with you. We want to boycott this match. Who are you to boycott? We will boycott it first. But PCB has taken a strong stance, especially their top political leadership. They also understand that if they don't take a stand regarding this match against India, then they will be having lots of problems in their country, especially people might go against the government, especially now they are showing a solidarity towards Bangladesh when it concerns cricket, because it's very important for both the nations, especially Pakistanis also. They take the India and Pakistan matches very seriously. And now since the relations between Bangladesh and Pakistan have improved, now they want to show solidarity towards Bangladesh, and ICC opening up back channel talks, this should not have been done.
Yes. I just want to point out, Shivam, what the Pakistan PM said on the boycott, the match, the boycott that they're doing with India. There should be no politics on the sports field. This is what the Pakistan Prime Minister is saying, which sounds very much like hypocrisy if it falls on any ears.
Definitely, Pakistan has never made its point clear whether they will be playing, whether they won't be playing earlier. Now they have taken a stance that they won't be playing, and now ICC opening up back channel talks. This shows that they are adamant that a match should happen and a match should take place. Now ICC also warned PCB of some actions. Now there is also another clause that is being circulated that Pakistan may opt the force majeure clause. Now it's a simple clause that refers to unforeseen circumstances that can prevent any contract from being fulfilled, and in this case also there are chances that PCB will take this clause into action, and it will say that there are unforeseeable circumstances and hence we cannot have a match with India. Earlier Bangladesh was claiming that they had a security threat, their players had a security threat, and when it comes to the shooting competition, they were sending their players, their shooters there, and because it's an indoor, the whole stadium, it's an indoor competition. So vague arguments, so either when it comes from Bangladesh and now also from Pakistan, and it's majorly political, majorly signaling towards what they want and showing solidarity towards Bangladesh, the bonhomie between Pakistan and Bangladesh. Now ICC having communication again and again with PCB shows that they are more adamant. If Pakistan doesn't want to play, why are you pressurizing Pakistan, the PCB? If they want to move out, let them move out. If they don't want to play, it will be a better event in case Pakistan is not playing. That's what the Indian citizens watch, what the Indian citizens want.
That's right.
Shivangi.
That's right. Well, thank you, Shivam, for getting us all those details. We'll continue tracking the story very closely. A brutal assault in Delhi's Mehrauli area has come to light with 4 individuals now arrested. The victim, Mukesh, is a 26-year-old businessman who intervened to stop an alleged eve-teasing incident, was thrashed by the accused. Here's the report. Take a look.
A brutal assault in Delhi's Mehrauli area has led to swift arrest by the police. The victim, Mukesh, was attacked in South Delhi's Saket area on February 3rd. The man was reportedly thrashed after he intervened to stop an alleged eve-teasing of a woman. Seeing the woman in distress, a man who was present at the spot objected to their behavior, following which the men allegedly turned violent and assaulted him. 4 individuals were identified and arrested for the assault. The police registered an FIR under sections 110, 79, 126(2) and 35 of Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Meanwhile, the injured victim, who was allegedly punched, kicked and beaten on his face, chest and abdomen, was given prompt medical assistance on spot and was later shifted to AIIMS Trauma Center.
A major political and religious controversy is back in focus. This is the Tirupati ladu, and one of India's most sacred offerings is at the center of fresh questions. and conflicting claims and a damning investigation report. A former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has demanded a clean chit, insisting that the special investigation team has effectively closed the case, claiming that no animal fat was found in the laddus. But the Supreme Court appointed SIT report tells a very, very different story. 11-page report flags serious procedural lapses in the procurement of ghee used by the Tirupati Devas Thanam between 2019 and 2024, lapses that investigators say opened the door to the adulteration.
भैया हमारा भगवान का प्रसाद में we are using nearly 14 tons of cow ghee daily, but between 2019 to 2024 that was not at all a ghee, that was fully adulterated, that is synthetic ghee. It's not good. The YCP government, anti-Hindu government, wantedly destroyed the sentiments of Balaji devotees and crores of Hindu devotees.
सर रूल्स टेंडर के लास्ट मिनट चेंज कर दिए गए थे, तो उसकी क्या ज़रूरत पड़ गई थी?
ये पैसा कमाने के लिए पूरा, और रेजोल्यूशन नंबर 371 YV सुब्बा रेड्डी वो टाइम में TTD चेयरमैन, वो टाइम में पूरा घी का टेंडर प्रोसेस में रिलैक्सेशन किया. वो अच्छा नहीं, भगवान के पास ऐसा नहीं करना है, क्योंकि ये करने के बाद वो बोले बाबा डेयरी को टेंडर में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए उसका क्या क्या बताता है, उसका टेंडर में पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए उसको मौका मिला.
सर आंध्र प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट ने दोबारा से एक SIT का गठन करा है, तो उसका मेजर रीज़न क्या था? व्हाट वाज द मेजर रीज़न बिहाइंड इट?
बिकॉज आई टोल्ड यू ना, रेजोल्यूशन नंबर 371 में अभी हमारा वो टाइम में EO एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर अनिल कुमार सिंह सीनियर IAS थे, उसको अभी ट्रांसफ़र किया. इसके बारे में सीट ने रेकमेंड किया उसको TTD से निकालने के लिए, और वो टाइम में रेजोल्यूशन पास किया ना, वो बोर्ड का चेयरमैन YV सुब्बा रेड्डी और मेंबर्स के उसके खिलाफ कुछ पनिशमेंट लेना है ना, इसलिए हम एडिशनल सप्लीमेंट्री चार्जशीट बनने के लिए बोर्ड लीगल ओपिनियन के साथ अभी CBI और सिट को एक लेटर डालने के लिए हम सोच रहे हैं.
सर इन द SIT रिपोर्ट उसके अंदर लैक्टा एसिड व्हिच इज यूज्ड इन द बाथरूम्स वो पाया गया है घी के अंदर. सो व्हाट डू यू वांट टू से अबाउट दैट?
ये बदमाश लोग हैं, ऐसा नहीं करना है भैया, क्योंकि वो घी है ना, प्योर काऊ घी से हम प्रसाद बनने वाले हैं. ये अडल्ट्रेशन के समय में वो बाथरूम को क्लीन करते हैं ना, वो एसिड डेयरी सप्लायर्स है ना, उसको नियरली 8,900 kgs वो डेयरीज को सप्लाई किया. ये बहुत मन में क्या करना है, दुख की बात है, ऐसा नहीं करना है. भगवान के पास ये महापाप है. ये बदमाश लोग ऐसा कर लिया. इसके ये कोर्ट में, ये हमारा कोर्ट में एस्केप हो सकते नहीं के, लेकिन भगवान की कोर्ट है ना, उसमें भगवान नहीं छोड़ते बदमाश आदमी को, किसी को नहीं छोड़ते भगवान.
All right, more awards playing out there. I just want to go across to my colleague. I think we have Ashurya with us. Ashurya is joining us live. Ashurya, SIT indicates tender norms were diluted, but we're seeing a war of words really play out. If you could help our viewers understand, what are different parties saying over this laddu, the Tirupati laddu case, which is back in the headlines?
So after the Supreme Court appointed SIT had filed its charge sheet and it's concluded its investigation, a major political storm between the YSRCP as well as the TTP erupted in Andhra Pradesh, saying that YSRCP on one side, that is the Chief Minister former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy himself, saying that he demanded a clean sheet from this entire case, saying that there was no mention of either animal fat or pig fat or even the use of fish oil in the making of the ghee. That was actually claimed by the TDP and which led to this entire SIT being formed, is what the former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy was claiming, and he demanded that any of his ministers, any of his leaders are not mentioned in the charge sheet, and that is the and this is only an entire political vendetta and to actually hurt the people's sentiments. The Chandrababu Naidu led government had initiated this entire investigation into the Tirupati Laddu scam is what Jagan Mohan Reddy's government here is claiming after the conclusion of the SIT. But on the other hand, the SIT report and the TDP are claiming that we cannot negate the NDDB report, which confirmed the percentages of this animal fat. Initially, when the NDDB report had come, there was a mention of animal fat as well as the percentage of animal fat mentioned. So we cannot entirely negate that, and that is the reason SIT was formed. And that is the reason furtherly the SIT report has also mentioned systematic procedures and also the lack of proper system, and even the inspection reports were also tried to manipulate it to cater the Bole Baba Dairy Company, which provided this adulterated ghee. So it might not, animal fat might not be clearly mentioned in the report, but what the society report is saying that the ghee is adulterated. There were chemicals that used to make this ghee that is not to be used, is what the TTP government is saying, and that is the reason they have formed another committee also. And there is also a cabinet meeting that is being held today in Andhra Pradesh to further discuss the procedure on how and when this particular entire case should be taken forward. Yes. Because after the charge sheet, there's this trial going on in the Nellore Court, High Court as well. Yeah. So this is something that should not be forgiving.
Exactly.
And just because there's no animal fat.
CM Naidu's office has released a statement, and now they will start acting on the SIT's findings, like you were mentioning. So what can we expect next? Because it looks like those who are responsible for the adulteration will be taken to task, from what we understand.
This Chandrababu Naidu government is taking this particular thing very seriously, and what the Naidu government here is looking into is that the TDD officials as well, the procedural lapses, the systematic corruption that was also involved in this particular entire scam is what they are also looking into. The TTD government, the TDP government has also clearly mentioned that there's also systematic lapses, and there are a lot of TDD board members that are involved in this entire scam were involved. So they should also be equally punished, and with the help of the findings of the SIT, they are forming a further committee to probe into the systematic procedures as well.
All right, well, thank you for getting us all those details, Ashura. I'll be coming back to you for more on this developing story. And viewers, opposition MPs yesterday disrupted Parliament, preventing Prime Minister Modi from delivering his statement on the groundbreaking India-US trade deal. Hailed as a daddy of deals after slashing US tariffs on Indian goods from 50% to just 18%. Republic's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami exposes the elements who try to disrupt the parliamentary order of the largest democracy. Take a look.
How can you stop a prime minister from speaking in parliament? How do you subvert the decision of 1.4 billion people through a general election process to elect a prime minister? The prime minister does not have the right to speak. It must be remembered always, on occasions like the budget session of parliament, the prime minister has a duty to speak. So how do you stop a prime minister from carrying out his duty? How do you stall the result of an election? How do you bring the Lok Sabha, the House of the People, to a standstill? Ladies and gentlemen, you may not believe it, but this has actually happened. The Prime Minister of India has been blocked from speaking physically, leading to the adjournment of the Lok Sabha in Parliament. It's a silly thing they have done, but actually much worse. I'm using polite language. The women MPs from the opposition come together and they surround the Treasury bench facing the Speaker, where ministers, including the Prime Minister, speak. It is an act recorded on camera, so they cannot deny they did it. The women MPs then stand right next to the Prime Minister's chair when he was not in the House, so that if he comes, they'll physically block him. What is this? Tamasha. They carry a long poster which has the Prime Minister's picture and, quote, "do what is right" written on it. All the other members of the opposition then come together, standing, raising placards and sloganeering. The Prime Minister is therefore, the chair where he's supposed to sit has been surrounded. And then these people have some papers in their hands which you wave at the Speaker. But the intention is clear. They have decided that they will physically confront the Prime Minister, physically stop him. I don't know if they would have done worse, but they will stop him physically from speaking in the Lok Sabha. So this is a physical blocking of the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. What is this behavior? What was achieved by doing this? By physically blocking the Prime Minister, was a single question answered? Does surrounding the Prime Minister's chair and coming together and saying, we will carry out this gherao of the Prime Minister inside the house, does it change a single policy or push in any positive direction? The question the people of the country must ask right now is this. The problem is that, in effect, the opposition in India does not have a leader. Rahul Gandhi, in the meantime, was outside calling a member of parliament a traitor, behaving like someone doing some street side trolling. It has become form over substance for the opposition. No one in the opposition wants to discuss or seems to be appeared intellectually or content-wise to debate the budget tabled by the finance minister. They can debate the fiscal deficit. They can debate the defense allocation. They can raise a number of issues substantially and make a difference qualitatively to debate, which is at the core of the way the country thinks. But no, they will not do that. They don't even want to debate the Indo-US trade deal. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, that today we have a situation where, with Rahul Gandhi's empty-headed behavior, the opposition has no agenda. In the first week of Parliament, just 4 or 5 days since the budget, they have no agenda. They have nothing to contribute. What is their contribution? Behaving in this mad way, raising slogans, parading outside Parliament, blocking the Prime Minister's chair, physically blocking the Prime Minister from speaking, quoting from an unpublished book written by a former army chief, which the army chief himself has put out a clear statement on, which contradicts you, but you won't mention that. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, the Rahul Gandhi opposition only wants to do tamasha. They are not doing their job. I often say that the most unfortunate thing for our country is that at a national level, we do not have an opposition. We do not have an opposition leader at the national level. What is this? If the opposition was serious, if Rahul Gandhi was a serious politician, he would have been talking about the Aravali issue, reading up about it, studying it, analyzing it, debating it, confronting people on issues. He would have discussed illegal infiltration, which he won't, because he wants the Muslim vote and he wants to turn the Congress party into a Muslim party. He would have discussed why India is still giving Pakistan a long rope during T20. I'm giving him that option because sometimes Rahul Gandhi is not capable of serious, comprehensive intellectual analysis in depth on any issue, on economics or strategy or geopolitics, but he would have talked about anything, maybe affordable housing schemes. Maybe he would have talked about India's space program or satellite security. He would have talked about why some recent space launches have not been successful, read up on that, raised those issues in Parliament and forced the government to have a meaningful discussion. But no, you see, Rahul Gandhi has this empty-headed view of life. I am from this family. I may know nothing, but I'll behave in this way and I'll be leader of the opposition. It is extremely unfortunate. It's not about blocking the Prime Minister. It's not about abusing people sitting on the steps of Parliament. It's not about behaving like a street-side troll. It's something much bigger than this. The bigger thing is, as a consequence of all this, and trust me, every individual opposition leader in private says today, I speak to many, that the greatest tragedy for us is that Rahul Gandhi is the leader of the opposition, at least technically. They won't say so in private, but in these circumstances, the biggest danger for India is that our country, the world's largest democracy, does not have an opposition, does not have an opposition leader. That hurts our democracy, trust me. It hurts our democracy a lot.
And getting you much more coming up, back-to-back fatal game addiction, suicides have been reported in Bhopal and Ghaziabad. Should India consider a social media ban for under 16?
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
Amity has been ranked India's #1 not-for-profit private university for 11th year, with top 10 ranked institutions in management, engineering, biotech, law, mass comm, telecom, hospitality, fashion and more. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Hi. Good morning
Hi, how
to
are
you.
you?
Good evening from India. We have announcement of a trade deal, and
Yes.
you've seen both sides. Trump says that India has promised not to buy Russian oil, but Indian Prime Minister's response makes no such commitment. But Trump says, I've reduced the tariffs to 18%. And then he says that besides everything else, Prime Minister Modi has also agreed to buy American, in addition to 300 billion in, 500 billion in some other purchases. Anyway, there's an existing agreement to buy 300 billion, so there's not much of a hard-coded commitment from the Indian side. So Trump is obviously using a lot of hyperbole, making some claims, but the good thing is there's an announcement of a deal. But there's more statements coming from Trump than from India, especially to Trump's statement that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil. There's nothing official from the Indian side to that. How do you view these developments, Professor Sachs?
Well, basically, the United States is unstable and irresponsible, but backing down from the most outlandish actions of this government a few months ago. They made no sense. They antagonized India. They disrupted trade. And I think somebody finally explained to Trump that none of this was serving any American interests at all. And so Trump has backed down to an important extent. Everything about Trump and trade is erratic, not sensible, not accomplishing any U.S. goals, but better 18% tariffs than 50% tariffs or 500% tariffs. But I wouldn't take at face value any single statement by the U.S. government. I think everything is just complete improvisation, a lot of baloney, a lot of malarkey, but probably somebody has prevailed inside the White House to say, why antagonize India?
So what did Trump or what did America gain in the last
Nothing.
4 months of putting
Nothing.
pressure on India?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Whatever is agreed today could have been agreed before. Nothing is gained. There's no pressure. India has U.S. has no leverage on India. So none of this is anything other than Trump's delusion that the U.S. is the be-all and end-all of the universe. And so his writ is the command for the whole world. But that's Trump's delusion, that the U.S. market is so big, so consequential, so important that he can get every other country to fall into line. But the U.S. market is not very important in this way. The main lesson of the last year is that despite all of the U.S. bluster, the world did just fine last year. It traded more with each other. India and China are in the process of restoring what will be the most important trade relations between the two giants. And in general, everybody is diversifying away from the...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for staying with us this Thursday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching live and breaking at 1 p.m. with me, Oyana Mitra. Viewers, there is complete deadlock in Parliament. We've seen back-to-back cases where opposition parties have stormed the well of the House. They have completely disrupted proceedings. And yesterday, it even led to the Prime Minister's speech being blocked by the opposition party members. He is supposed to speak in the Rajya Sabha today at 5 p.m. But the question really is, will the opposition parties of India allow the Parliament to function? We have live reports coming in from Vijay Chowk, but first the headlines. Deadlock continues in Parliament. Will opposition allow Prime Minister's address in motion of thanks? Pakistan reiterates boycott of match with India in the T20 World Cup. ICC asks Deputy Chair to convince Pakistan. Is Pakistan being let off too easily? Back-to-back fatal game addiction suicides reported in Bhopal and Ghaziabad. Should India consider social media ban for under 16? After SIT report proves adulteration in Tirupati ladu, former Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy says charge sheet is closed. UK Civil Aviation Authority seeks Air India's response on faulty fuel switch. Air India says precautionary re-inspection completed, no defect found in the fuel switch. All right, viewers, we're tracking in the developments from Parliament very, very closely in a build-up to the Prime Minister's speech, which is slated for in the Rajya Sabha today at 5 p.m. The deadlock is continuing even today. The Lok Sabha was adjourned a short while back, moments after it began, while ruckus and sloganeering continued in the upper house. This after the Prime Minister's address in the lower house, that is the Lok Sabha, was stalled yesterday after a showdown by the opposition members. We brought you those visuals from the Parliament, viewers, where you can see the opposition members storming the Treasury benches just moments before the Prime Minister was set to enter the House and make his statement. Now, meeting was held earlier today in Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge's chamber for opposition parties to discuss their strategy for the ongoing Parliament session. Now, the question really is, will the opposition allow the Prime Minister's motion of thanks address in the Rajya Sabha? And
बैनर तख्तियां नारेबाजी ना करें, आप सदन को चलने दें, बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है। बैनर तख्तियां नारेबाजी ना करें, आप सदन को चलने दें, बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है। बैनर तख्तियां नारेबाजी ना करें, आप सदन को चलने दें, बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है। नारेबाजी ना करें, आप सदन को चलने दें, बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है। बैनर तख्तियां नारेबाजी ना करें, आप सदन को चलने दें, बजट पर महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है। बैनर, तख्तियां, नारेबाजी न करें, आप सदन को चलने दें। बजट पर, महत्वपूर्ण बजट पर चर्चा होगी, सबको अपने विचार व्यक्त करने का अवसर मिलेगा। आप सदन नहीं चलाना चाहते, नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं, सभागृह का अपमान करना चाहते हैं, सभा की कार्रवाई आज 2 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
It's embarrassing, viewers. It's the same template by the opposition party members every session of the parliament. You saw over there Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla questioning members of the opposition party for their conduct in the House. This is what happened this morning. Now let's tell you what happened yesterday. On Wednesday, women opposition MPs had gherawed the speaker, stormed the treasury benches as the deadlock in parliament continued. This just moments before the Prime Minister was supposed to speak in Lok Sabha. Here are some of the responses now that are coming in from the NDA and the opposition parties.
देखिए, जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं, लगातार सोमवार से लोकसभा की कार्रवाई में जो व्यवधान हो रहा है, लगातार नेता प्रतिपक्ष के निर्देश के अनुसार पूरा विपक्ष हमारे बजट के चर्चा पर लगातार कहीं ना कहीं हम लोग देख रहे कितनी तैयारी के साथ आते हैं, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी स्थगित करनी पड़ती है। आप देख रहे हैं हमारे माननीय स्पीकर सर लगातार कितना समझाने के बाद सदन चलता नहीं है। उसके बाद जो एक स्पीकर पैनल है उसमें हम सभी हैं, मैं भी हूँ, और हमारे उसमें सभी समाजों का उसमें ध्यान रखा है। हम सब बहनें भी हैं, महिलाएं भी हैं, उसमें हम सब मैं भी हूँ, और हमारे सभी वर्गों को उसमें, जैसे मैं ऐसी समाज से आती हूँ, हमारे भाई कृष्णा प्रसाद टेंटी वो भी ऐसी समाज से आते हैं, वो भी परसों बैठे थे तो उनका भी अपमान किया। लगातार हम भी कई बार बैठते हैं।
संध्या जी, आप तो चेयर पे बैठी और तुरंत महिलाएं आई, उन्होंने घेर लिया वेल को, वेल पर जंप करने वाली थी और आपको तुरंत एडजर्न करना पड़ा।
नहीं, वो तो देखिए जैसा है, जैसा वहाँ स्थिति बनती है वैसा हम लोगों को करना पड़ा, लेकिन ये देश देख रहा है सदन की कार्रवाई को व्यवधान पहुँचाना। और लगातार हम देख रहे हैं सोमवार से कुछ लोग, हम लोग तो दूसरी बार के हैं, लेकिन जो पहली बार के सांसद चुनकर आए पूरी तैयारी के साथ आते हैं, लेकिन उनको ऐसा माहौल देखना पड़ रहा है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये ठीक नहीं है।